Okay, so we promised to come sharp at 8 o'clock and we are live. Let's wait for our viewers to join us. Let's wait for a few minutes. Okay, good evening, everyone. Our Women's Day special week is going on, and today we have a very special guest with us. She is an inspiration to all the students and the teachers out there. She has conquered her world with huge excellence and power. She motivates many of us to lead a life with superiority and freedom. Well, she is none other than Dr. Munmun Nath. She is presently the head of BBIT Public School, Budgebudge. She is the former principal of Calcutta International School. Well, let's hear more about her achievements and thoughts directly from her. Welcome to Select Chronicles, ma'am. First, the question which I need to ask you: how it feels to be a teacher.
Saroni, thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure to interact with the viewers today. And being a teacher, it's such a wonderful feeling. Like, there cannot be anything greater than this. You are able to touch the life of so many people. You can influence so many people. You can make the future of so many children, students. So I think this is that's why it's called one of the. I would say not one of the. It's the noble profession
Exactly.
because you can bring about change.
Exactly. Then, ma'am, will you please share with us how is your vision regarding this, the normal classroom that we had previously, and now again it has begun, and this online education? What differences you could see in this lockdown situation?
Uh, I'll first start with the online education.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think it is March 2020, and we suddenly had to close down schools, and within 2-3 days had to start this online because we could not disrupt the learning process that was on
Exactly.
for the benefit of the students. But I think it is the silver lining in this pandemic cloud
Hmm.
because the teachers, they adopted technology, and what agility they have shown, like,
Hmm.
training themselves not only to use technology but also the different online teaching learning tools.
Hmm. Hmm.
Teachers using augmented reality, teachers using artificial intelligence, polling, Padlet. I really felt proud when I observed the classes that the teachers were taking. So
Hmm.
teachers have professionally upgraded them, and as far as students are concerned, like, if they missed the class, the recordings of the class were available. Teachers shared worksheets and academic materials on Google Classrooms. So it is not that Google Classroom was not available earlier, but now everyone used it, and students
Exactly.
could learn at their own pace. So I take it as a technological advancement in education, like
Hmm.
something that we were heading for, but we suddenly took that jump. We took that jump, and I would say we achieved this. So this was online education. Definitely, we made a lot of advancement. But saying that, there is no substitute for offline education.
Exactly.
Absolutely, offline schooling, because school does not only teach you to read and write, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of things that the school gives you. Like, if you go back to your school days, like, what would you remember? The sports day, the annual day,
Exactly.
the
Annual
Teachers' Day
function.
celebration,
Yeah.
the fights on the sports field, the house captains
Exactly.
fighting for their houses,
Tiffin
running on
sharing,
the
everything.
corridors when teachers were
Yeah.
not there. So, can you
Exactly.
imagine the class 12, which will be graduating this year? They don't have any memories of 11th
Yeah.
and 12th.
Exactly.
That is something, we will cherish throughout our life. Like, that's such an important part. School teaches you discipline. School teaches you that team spirit. School teaches you to share, to care. Like, all these things have been missed out. So
Exactly.
very important part of a student life.
Hmm.
Looking ahead towards the future, I think we are moving towards a hybrid learning, which will incorporate the best of the two. Like, yes, online learning has its own advantage, as in the paced learning, use of technology, but then, of course, there's no substitute for coming to school, that physical bonding with the teachers.
Exactly.
So yes, we are moving towards, like in the near future, something education would have both the hybrid learning.
Very well said. Very well said. Ma'am, the thing is, like, in these last 2 years, we didn't have any physical contact with our students. Whether the students didn't get us anyhow. So, do you think that it is going to affect their psychology, student
It
psychology?
is. It is an unrepairable loss that the students have had, because teachers are friends,
Hmm.
philosopher, guide, counselor. Students
Exactly.
share so many things with their teachers, and I think teachers are the right person to guide them, show them the correct path, which has been totally missed out. Students have a lot of personal, it's not only academic issues, their
Hmm.
personal things which is going on in their family, they
Hmm.
often share, and the teachers guide
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this and this emotional security is very important for academical excellence, academic performance. So students have missed that guidance, and moreover that bonding with the teachers also
Hmm.
helps the students to understand better in the class. That physical presence of the teacher, that human touch, I mean, it is totally, it was not there. And it has resulted into a lot of behavioral issues, mental
Exactly.
issues. Mental health is a concern.
Hmm.
Definitely we would try to bridge the gap, but as I said, it is unrepairable. Like, something, it will take a lot of time to completely give the students back what they have missed.
Exactly. And the most important thing that we all already felt it, like it has been a disaster in the education system, like having been remained away from the institution and keeping confined in home. So there is a total, like the results which we have seen, the way they have given the examinations. What is your view regarding this?
I think I would say we did not have a choice, because what happened was unprecedented. Like,
Hmm.
whether it is the education world, the medical world, or the government, whatever you say, no one had a clarity what it was and how it would
How long
impact the
exactly?
children. Yes. So the only way was to take precautions. Now, if you see overseas, US or UK, the schools didn't shut down for such a long
Hmm.
period. But then
Hmm.
our scenario is very different with the
Population
huge
density.
population and the
Hmm.
civic and hygiene sense, like, different strata of the society. So I do not think we could have taken that risk. So we had no choice, absolutely. So I would say yes. Now there are many schools which have risen to this occasion, and
Hmm.
with the full commitment have tried to ensure that the students, the learning goes on. But then many schools didn't have the facility, or that effort was not there
Hmm.
um, um, to address these issues for whatever reason. So the children confined to their houses and not having access to school or learning, I would say it's 2 years, or 2 years taken out of their life, totally. I mean, it
Exactly.
has been washed off.
And we can see the changes when they have come back. We can observe the
You
changes.
can see the gap. Like, teachers have done an excellent job, but in spite of that, you can see, and it's very important to bridge this gap. Like in our school also, we are calling them now for a bridge course to identify these gaps, so that we can
Right.
address it before they go to the next class. So there's a lot of gap.
Right. Many people are of the opinion that the urban and the rural students, okay, they have been deprived of getting the proper benefits because many of them didn't have the mobile phones only. Whereas we can see the city-based students, they have been got all the advantages
Mhm.
and all. So what is your view regarding this?
I think statistically, yes, the schools in the cities had advantage of better internet connection, and the economic
Hmm.
condition or the financial
Hmm.
condition of the parents is also slightly maybe better, so they could provide devices to
Exactly.
their children. So that way, yes, city children had an advantage. Rural areas, even like many state governments have given devices to the children, but then
Hmm.
internet
Hmm. Hmm.
connection had been an issue. But I know of schools, like I have seen on television or heard of schools, even in the rural areas, who have actually have found alternate ways of educating the children. Like I know of a school which have called the parents to school, delivered the academic materials to them, told them how they have to go back and teach. So there were classes of the parents in school. The headmaster,
Wow.
guided the parents, and the parents went back home and did the same thing. It was not an online technology, was not there, they didn't have devices, but the parents came to school, learned from the teachers, and went back home and taught the children. So like that, I
Wow,
know of a
that's
place
so
where,
good. Yeah.
yes, where there was no internet connection in the villages, but then
Hmm.
remote, a hilltop where there was an internet connection, and I think one of the companies provided that. So children would walk
That's
to that
right.
hilltop, sit there in the open where they could
Wow.
get internet connection. So people have, like, come forward, but these numbers are very less, very
Yeah.
less. And I think our the industry, the industrial sector, the corporate sector could have done something here, like providing that a little better access, so that the rural children also
Exactly. So
were
at a
not
very low cost.
left
Yeah.
behind in this journey.
Right, right. Coming to this preschool students, actually, like 3 years old, 4 years old, they have started, like going to school now because in the lockdown time they were at home almost. But now when they have started, we cannot, keep them away from mobile phones. They're attracted to that more. So, what better way we can help them, or how we can help them in a productive way, so that they can come out of this and lead their life in a productive way and not more in mobile.
I think, getting addicted to the mobile is not only because of this online classes. If you
Right.
see the
Okay.
toddlers,
Just a
the
minute, ma'am. Just a minute.
yeah.
Just a minute. 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Uh-huh. So if you see the toddlers, you will see that the mothers, while feeding them, give a mobile to the in their hand with a cartoon, cartoon, watching the cartoons, or something, whatever the child likes to. Even when the child is upset or crying, they would give a mobile with something going on in it. And I have seen, even, like, just to keep them engaged, so that the mothers are free or the parents are free and can do. So problem is, the addiction is not just because of online classes, and I think here the parents need to be counseled and educated first, because if the older siblings are using the mobile all the time, if the mother is using the mobile whenever she's free, if the father is all the time on the mobile, then it is not fair to expect that a preschool child does not use the mobile for his recreation. So it
Exactly.
has to be as a family rule, where you would
Exactly.
have timings. Okay, from this time to this time, you would have access to mobile, and other times the family together is watching something on television, or family together is reading out, everyone is reading a book. So that, I mean, children learn by observing, by watching others. Like, we are
Right.
generation the eights, we copy. So if parents are reading, they are going, for a physical exercise or a walk, or there's fixed time for everything: physical activity, reading, watching television, and as well as mobile time for with the social
Right.
media. anything. So as a family, those rules have to be imposed, and a preschool child will also do what he's watching others in the family doing.
Okay. To just our viewers, that one of my plug point is having a bit problem. So I'll just take 1 minute. Please, my viewers, please be there. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm very sorry for this trouble, but I'm back again. I think the same thing I can relate to this because while taking the classes and all, we faced the same thing in the last 2 years. Uh, okay, yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah. So basically, what we are going through, the total, the changes that we can see after 2.5 years almost, and ma'am, this after the school opened, we have seen that the students have become much more homesick. They have become much more lazy because they don't want to come to school. They know they have a WhatsApp group. They will get everything there. Even after coming to school also, they are provided with the WhatsApp group and all, because every notice and all we have to send there. So how this, or what is the role of the school in changing their habits regarding this?
I think we'll have to do it gradually. In the beginning, I actually before reopening of the schools, the
Hmm.
students needed to be conditioned, like
Hmm.
those
Hmm.
discussions, in the school scenario, or having a class at a stretch as would be
Hmm.
expected in the school, and giving them breaks only matching with the break timing of the school,
Hmm.
that would have conditioned the children a little. And then
Hmm.
after coming to school also, at a time, I it's not a good idea to keep them for 6 7 hours. Like maybe the first 2 3 weeks it could be 2 hours or 4 hours, and then gradually
Hmm.
increasing. And the focus should be on co-curricular activities, fun
Right.
activities, games, sports, team building exercises, that because they are not used to sharing, they are not used to playing together. So all these exercises would actually
Hmm.
motivate them to come to school.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
gradually then the identifying the gaps, as I was saying, it's very
Hmm.
important to identify the learning gaps and
Hmm.
address it, because
Right.
otherwise the child will not follow. When you start the new teaching, the child will not understand, and the student in that case also would not want to come to school. So I think the schools could do this, we are also doing that. The focus is on
Hmm.
co-curricular activities and play activities.
Right. So tomorrow we are having a mathematics examinations. It is starting from
Yes,
tomorrow.
yes,
Right.
yes.
So all my
Mhm.
students are going to appear for the board exams for the first time, and
Mhm.
they didn't have that much of school last year. So what do you think that what outlook they are going to have? Because like, see, they have given the online examinations, right? On the in the month of December only they had a selection examination. Apart from that, they are not accustomed to all these examinations throughout the year. So what
Mhm.
different outlook they are going to have for tomorrow?
I think when the students write the exam, they would know there's a lot of difference, giving exams online and coming and writing. Like they are not used to writing for 3 hours at a
Hmm.
stretch. That itself
Hmm.
gives us stress. The
Hmm.
speed, because if I'm sure the teachers, like that's what we had focused, that even in
Right.
online teaching, the students be made to write, because most of them are typing and just listening. So the speed goes down. The handwriting is not like what it's supposed to be. Many like what we are observing in the children, the handwriting has gone bad and spellings have gone bad, because they are writing less. So if the children have not practiced that enough, there would be a challenge. There would be a challenge, because last year also, when we had this examination, the students, like, the board examination was cancelled, but during the
Hmm.
pre-board examination, the students
Hmm.
could not finish the papers. They could not
Right.
finish the paper, and they could not structure their thoughts. They knew
Right.
the answers, but what they are writing, like I personally went through the answer scripts, and I
Hmm.
could, like, firstly, the handwriting really annoyed me, and the second was they really could not structure their thoughts on the paper,
Hmm.
because that needs practice. So this is a
Writing habit
challenge the
was gone.
students would face. Yes.
Right. Right. And ma'am, what will be your message for all the students of CBS and ICSE boards? What thoughts you want to share with them before the examinations?
Children who would be appearing for board examination, March
20.
and April,
Yeah.
CBSE and ICSE. First of all the best. Like, and children who have actually listened to their teachers and have done what the teachers have told them, have nothing to fear. I'm sure you all would do well. But then there are students who have really escaped, had kept their videos off, have not, like, wanted to, like, have given the online test, and during online tests they had access to certain informations which they
Hmm.
have used. So if they have
Hmm.
used those information to write the assessments or the tests which have been on online, dear students, then you have certain gaps, like,
Hmm.
don't be on the cloud nine, like, okay, with the marks that you have got, if you still have some time, please, go through your textbooks rigorously, thoroughly, and write. It's very, since you all had online classes, it's very, very important for you to write down the answers. There are
Hmm.
sample papers available, so solve them, but write. Please write, focus on your handwriting and focus on your speed, so that you're able to complete the paper on time.
Yes, yes. ওকে, সো আমাদের সেলেব ক্রনিকলসের যারা দর্শক আছে, আমি ভিউয়ার্স তাদেরকে জানিয়ে রাখি, তাদেরকে আমি এতক্ষণ এটা নিয়ে কিছু বললি যে আমাদের কিন্তু উইমেন্স ডে স্পেশাল উইক চলছে। আমরা কামিং লাস্ট সানডে থেকে এই সানডে এবং কামিং সানডে অবধি একটা উইমেন্স ডে স্পেশাল উইক আমরা করছি, যার জন্য কিন্তু আজকে ম্যাম আমাদের সাথে আছে। এবং আমরা একটুখানি ডিফারেন্ট কোয়েশ্চেন্স ম্যামকে এবার জিজ্ঞাসা করবো রিগার্ডিং উইমেন্স ডে। So we are going to shift our questions from students to women empowerment. Okay, my first question to you, ma'am, will be like, if you were in charge, what would you do to make women empowerment a better place to work?
Uh, See, for if women have to be empowered, they will have to do it yourself. If you depend upon the government, if you depend upon the NGOs or policies, then you'll never be empowered. What women have to just do is learn to say no. They have to stop thinking that they have the responsibility of pleasing everybody, and stop trying to be the best mother, the best daughter, the best daughter in law, the best sister, and best wife. It is not
Wow.
possible. You have to make choices. You have to choose what you want out of your life. And for that, you don't have to be a rebel, you don't have to fight. It can be discussed through dialogue, but it is very important that you communicate, whether it is your near and dear ones or it is your boss. what you want. Most often, women don't communicate what they want.
Right.
They are busy pleasing other people. So please communicate what you want, make your choices what you want, and go ahead. You are empowered. The day you choose what you want to do out of your life, you are empowered. So I think that's all. I would tell the parents to teach their daughters to learn to say no.
Wow. A big clap for this line because I really loved this sentence, especially. Would you like to share any woman empowerment moment that had inspired you before?
Uh, I think Kiran Bedi, one of her, very influential when you talk to her.
Hmm.
I had heard, she was narrating her story, her life, her college, and how she's, she shared, she's the first IPS, a lady
Hmm.
IPS officer,
Hmm.
and she wanted to, and they were not giving, she had qualified for IAS, and
Hmm.
but she wanted to join the police. So with her determination, so this very inspiring. And she had said that one thing she regrets in her life, that is changing her surname. So again,
Ah,
women should feel
okay.
very proud of their maiden surname.
Yeah.
I think most often we change. So
Hmm.
keeping your identity intact. Another person is Sita Murthy. Wonderful. She is also when she qualified, graduated from a college,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they had, after campus interview, the list of the selected candidates were there for, Tata had come to their college for campus selection, and she was not selected. And she was not selected because she was a woman. And again, she, said, how can you reject me
Right.
because I'm a woman? And finally, later on, so they are, I think, some of the very inspiring women. Like when you
Hmm.
go through
Hmm.
their life stories,
Life stories.
I've
Hmm.
been inspired by them.
Right, right. And ma'am, what are the, like most effective ways to counteract the negative stereotypes, like of feminism that we face often in the workplace?
Uh, I think, as a woman, you're asking me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. As a woman.
yeah. I think, again, I think it is your own mindset. What I said for
Hmm.
empowerment, it is
Hmm.
our own mindset. That you want to be treated as a product, or you want to be treated as a person, as a human being. So
Hmm.
you are, I mean, what you think about yourself, the world also thinks about, the same thing
Exactly.
about you. So about feminism, it's the personality you carry, your outlook, it
Hmm.
matters. You need to ignore what others are thinking,
Hmm.
because you need to reflect around you what you are thinking. So when you are strong, when you are bold, and you express what you think, others
Hmm.
would be forced to think that way. Others also think. So
Right.
if this feminism, like when you, I'm very much against women reservations,
Hmm.
and talking about, women should be liberalized, such
Hmm.
movements.
Hmm.
Why there
Hmm.
should be a woman, why a woman need a concession? If we
Right.
are equal, we are equal. We earn it,
Hmm.
whatever we get, we earn it, and we are equal. So it's your outlook which makes all the difference.
Right.
If you will have to put yourself at that place where, no one would look at you as a female, or
Hmm.
as a
Hmm.
feminine gender. They will look at you, or they will respect you for what you are. Like if today I'm principal of a school, when a person is talking to me, he needs to give me the dignity of a principal of a school, but
Right.
he will give it when that is there in my body language. It
Right.
automatically would come when it is there in my body language. So I think we
Right.
need to, I mean, before expecting something from others, I think we
Hmm.
need to empower yourself. We need to change our outlook. We need to change and reflect our thoughts.
Right. Right. Okay, so I'm going to a different question. Where do you want to see yourself in next 10 years?
Um, I think I'm a born teacher. I'm born on Teachers' Day,
Oh, yeah.
and yes. So I started my career as a teacher, and
Hmm.
definitely I would continue to do that.
Hmm.
I'm a principal now, and going forward, maybe I'll retire, but definitely continue to be associated with
Hmm.
education, whether
Hmm.
it is training the teachers or writing books on education.
Right.
Our Indian education system needs a revolution. I mean, this is something
Hmm.
I love
Hmm.
to talk about. The approach to education needs to change. The approach to assess students,
Hmm.
the complete style of examination needs to change. So there's a lot of thoughts in my mind, which, with the busy schedule, I've not been able to put on
Correct.
paper. So definitely, after my retirement, I'll be writing books and training teachers.
Wow. And what are you trying to accomplish this year? What are your plans for this year?
This year, definitely, there's a lot of activities like physical activity. As I said, the children would be coming back to school after a long time.
Right.
You're talking about personal.
Personal and professional both.
Okay. So, professionally, yes, giving the children what they have missed. That's my
Right.
first priority. And there's a lot of activities that I have planned, and sensitizing them to its community, to its environment, experiential learning. Really, I mean, giving them such experiences. Like recently, what we did in our school was, since as a COVID protocol, students are not supposed to buy food from canteen, and they're supposed to get their
Hmm.
own
Hmm.
tiffin.
Hmm.
So the students have started a cafe in a home science lab where
Wow.
they bring nutritious snacks from home, or they're making it there and they're selling it. So it is a
Wow.
project that has been done by the entrepreneurship students and the home science students, and they have actually made a profit also out of it. So things like that, I've planned a lot of such activities for the students, because I believe the holistic learning comes from there. So this is professionally, and personally, I think, I think I've reached a stage where my personal and professional, I really cannot isolate. It has
Hmm.
become one. Like,
Hmm.
it's so much, like, if you ask me what I want to do now, I will tell you, yes, what I'm planning to do in my school, what I'm
Right.
planning to do with my children. So they actually have become one. So all the time I'm reading books, like on child psychology, and how, what changes we can bring in, how we
Right.
can give them better experiences. So that is
Right.
my personal growth, and definitely it's so connected with my uh, professional accomplishments.
Right, right. Thank you so much, ma'am. We already have come to an end of our episode. আমাদের দর্শকদেরও অসংখ্য অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ আমাদের সাথে থাকার জন্য এতক্ষণ ধরে। আর আমরা যেটা আমি আগেও বলেছি যে আমরা উমেন্স ডে স্পেশাল এপিসোডে আছি। সো থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ ম্যাম ফর গিভিং আস সো মাচ টাইম। আর লাস্ট কোয়েশ্চেন যেটা আমরা সবাইকে করে থাকি, দ্যাট ইজ হোয়াট ইজ ইউর মেসেজ ফর আওয়ার সেলেক্ট্রনিক্যালস টিম?
I think this is wonderful. As I said, it's been a pleasure. I did not know about it earlier. So I think it's a great job you're doing. Like, if you're calling this celebrities, like this week you're calling a woman celebrity, non celebrity, whatever. Like, it's a platform
Who's
where
those
I think
lines
people,
which we can
yes.
celebrate? Yeah.
Yes. So this is a platform where, people can express their view. I mean,
Yeah.
their opinion. So I think connecting with the people, so wonderful. I think in online it must be in offline also. There's certain things, like I said, of
Yeah, yeah,
online, which is going to
exactly.
stay on. These are one of the those things where, sitting at the comfort of your house, you're able to connect with so many people, share your
Right,
views. So I think
right.
great job, Chronicle, wonderful.
থ্যাংক ইউ, থ্যাংক ইউ, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। আমাদের দর্শকদেরও জানাই আপনারা আমাদের সাথে থাকুন, কারণ আমরা টিউসডে, দ্যাট ইজ অন 8th মার্চ, যেদিনকে আমাদের উইমেন্স ডে অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমরা সেলিব্রেট করি, সেদিনকে আমাদের ভীষণ একজন স্পেশাল গেস্ট আসবেন আমাদের সাথে। সেটা একটা সারপ্রাইজ, সেটা আমরা এখন বলবো না। সো প্লিজ স্টে উইথ আস, stay tuned, keep watching and be with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, ma'am, once again, and
Thank
শুভরাত্রি।
you.
শুভরাত্রি।